All right, Amber, thank you. And we are going in depth tonight for you after the recent Colonial Pipeline shutdown caused people to panic buy gasoline. We saw it right here in the upstate. It got us thinking about the demand for fuel and how that could affect car buying in the future. So during that week-long shutdown, electric vehicle interest, it grew. According to a survey from Cox Automotive, 50% of Americans in southern states, they said that they were more interested in electric vehicles. And then you have 36% of people said that they're more likely to buy one in the future. So what is all the buzz about? We're going in depth for you, answering those questions from experts right here in the upstate. Owning a car. It's pricey. Between annual maintenance and daily care, consumers are constantly looking for ways to cut costs, especially when it comes to fuel. The automakers answer? Electric vehicles, but it comes with a pretty price tag up front.
With hybrid or EV vehicles, you spend maybe an extra $10,000 on the initial cost of the car. And you have to ask yourself, how much gas can I buy for $10,000?
Jason Gamble is the owner of North Hills Automotive in Greenville, a family business since the mid-'80s.
And there's a lot of pressure from society as a whole and also the government to try to develop new technologies. I think that pressure is always there. But I think in the last 5, 6, 7 years, we've seen just a massive shift towards trying to get manufacturers to go electric.
Gamble's shop services all vehicles, electric, hybrid, and your good old internal combustion gasoline engine.
As technology adapts, shops like us will adapt with it.
Some of that technology is being researched and developed down I-85 at CU iCar, specifically for our local plants like BMW, Proterra, and Bosch.
What kind of technologies can we bring to their plants to make them work more efficiently, more safely, and more profitably in South Carolina?
David Clayton is the executive director of Clemson University's International Center for Automotive Research, the only program of its kind in the country. He says right now the EV market is focused on the $50,000 plus vehicle, but will likely come down in time.
One of the biggest barriers has simply been cost. And so as the battery plants increase capacity and more mainstream automakers are bringing these vehicles online, it's going to put downward price pressure on the vehicles and more people can afford them.
While electric vehicles are marketed to help the environment and cut fuel costs, both Clayton and Gamble still have questions.
Where are we going to land with the mining of all these battery materials? Where are we going to land with the recycling of all these battery materials? And how are we going to actually charge these cars? And right now, you can go to a business and there's 2 or 3 charging stations available, and there's a couple of electric vehicle parking spots available. If we all had electric cars, how would that work?
Clayton tells us the EV industry and federal government are working together to come up with a plan for policy and business, finding solutions for charging, battery needs, and sustainability.
And the billions of dollars to put the charging infrastructure in place to make it happen, either at your home or at parking garages or even attached to light poles on city streets, right? It's that there's going to be a long tail there of investment.
Right now, EVs make up only 2% of sales. Kelley Blue Book estimates between now and 2030, 90 to 100 new EVs will hit the market, and Clayton agrees.
That's when most of the major automakers are saying they're going to be, 50% or 100% electric, And when I say electric, it's both battery electric and then hybrid. So it's not as if the internal combustion engine is vanishing, but there will be a mix of different technologies in the future.
I think definitely electric vehicles are here to stay, and I think they serve a great purpose, but I still think that we're years away from ridding ourselves of fossil fuels. And even the mining of the materials for the electric vehicle batteries need fossil fuels.
So really, if anything, the pipeline shutdown showed our interest in cars is heavily influenced by the market, but it is also pretty short-lived. So I do want to touch on this. A lot of people find that the EV tax incentive is pretty appealing because if you own an electric vehicle, you can receive up to $7,500 from the federal government. However, I found two companies that do not qualify for this, and they're popular: Tesla and GM. And it's because their EV circulation reached a specific number. The rebates, they're limited to 200,000 units per manufacturer, and those two companies already reached the 200,000. So if you choose to purchase an EV, you may also benefit from some lower maintenance costs, a longer vehicle lifespan. We also found out they do not have catalytic converters. Some cons that you've told us about include that cost up front. They are more expensive, a shorter travel range, a lack of those charging stations, and length of time it takes to charge your